So here you're going to see me applying some NARS primer, and I'm going to be applying it everywhere on her face except for her eyelids and her lips. And after this, I'm just going to be following up with the NARS foundation. This color actually is a little bit deeper, and we're going to be using it on the outsides of her face, and the inside will be using a foundation that's actually a little bit lighter, which will be also her concealer and her highlighter. And here you'll see it. It's actually a cream foundation by Cover FX, and this is in G70. And you'll see I'm highlighting here down the nose as well and so forth where the light hits. And here we're using what's left over on the previous brush that we were using for the darker foundation, just on the outsides of her nose to give it a bit of a contour, but not a heavy contour. Now we're just using the blender brush to blend from the concealer highlighter color on outwards, out to the outsides of the face, and making sure everything is really well blended. Now you'll notice it will be a bit lighter, however we'll be deepening that with bronzers and powders afterwards. Then we follow up with a primer. I'm using Urban Decay Primer Potion, the regular basic one that dries semi-white. And I use it as well on the eyebrows because we will be deepening that with a gel liner, and this helps it to stay in place. As you can see here, I'm using the gel liner to fill in the brows. Now this is all on personal preference. Some like deeper, some like it more precise, some like thicker or thinner, and that would be discussed with the client at the time, or if you're doing this for yourself, you could just go with what you like best. And here you're going to see me follow up with a highlighter under the brow. It just gives amazing highlight, of course, and it just makes the brows pop and clean them up really nicely. I tend to use foundations. You can use eyeshadow if you wish. I use foundations and I bring it down a little bit, I blend it out, and then it's sealed with the shadows that I use afterwards. What's great about this is you don't have to worry about creasing because I don't bring it up to the eyelid. There's really no creasing potential. Just bring it down as far as you need it, and if you need a little cleanup on top, go ahead and do that here. Here I'm just cleaning up where any foundation creases may be, as well as the highlight above, and making sure everything blends seamlessly before any powders touch it. And we're about to take up that warm palette, and here we go, and we're using a medium, somewhat deep beige on her crease, and this just helps to warm it up, give it some definition of course, and get that look started. So as I deepen the corner and then go right into the crease and bringing it almost right to the nose. And now you can see that separation between the highlight and where her lid begins. After that, I went with a deeper color, of course, and deepened it a little bit further. And here I pulled out a white, which I don't always get to do, but I thought this would be awesome for her look. And here I am just giving it a quick powder because I was waiting for my gel to just get dry a little bit so we could start with the liner. Where the white is on her lid, you could easily go in with a very shimmery color or even a brighter color. If you plan on using a pink, a blue, or purple, this would be a perfect time and place to add it. Now here I am lining the lid, and it's quite thin, but as you can see, like from eye to eye, the comparison here, it's quite a drastic change. It's very thin, but it goes right to the center, and it gives a great definition to her almond eyes. So here, just in case you guys didn't know, we were having like a deep life conversation. So in case you're confused as to what's going on, that's what we're doing. We're having a lot of fun. So I'm finishing up with the liner, and I just make sure that I let it dry, and then I'm air drying it a little bit more just to be sure that it doesn't crease on the work we've already done. So here I'm going in with a blush. It's a very bright, semi-deep orange, and it's really beautiful because it almost doubles as a bronzer but yet a blush, and it just makes her skin glow so beautifully. So it is by MAC, however they've discontinued it, so sorry guys. And I'm just following up with a clean brush just to kind of blend it out and make it look seamless on the skin as if she's just naturally glowing. Oh, and by the way, there was awesome music playing, so we're both kind of swaying to that tune. And here, as you can see, we are adding some lashes. I've been told I do this really quickly, and on top of that, my hand's in the way, so you may not know what I'm doing. I really quickly added some glue to the lash line, basically right where the liner is, and I added some to the lashes as well. Now, this basically creates a suction cup situation where they both get stuck to each other, and it helps it last a lot longer. So here I'm just pressing forward, and it really doesn't take more than a couple seconds. It just sticks right on. I gave it a couple seconds, fast forward, and we are now adding mascara to blend the lashes. I lift it up so that way I can do a push motion of bringing both lashes together so we don't look like we have two sets and it doesn't look like falsies. At this point, I'm also double checking if there's any movement in the lash that I've applied or anything lifting, and just making sure that it is perfect before we are through. You do not want lashes lifting or popping off. That would just be all the way wrong, especially on your wedding day. So we need to make sure that's secure. The glue I use dries clear, but if yours does not, then be sure to go over it with your liner yet again. Of course, I really just had to add a little bit of sparkle, so we did that right here on her lower lid, just closer to the inner part of her lid, and I think it just looks so beautiful. It wasn't anything harsh or overbearing. It was just a very light shimmery gold, and it looks so amazing on her complexion. Here I'm just getting some powder for under her eye. I believe it was the Ben Nye banana powder. Of course, we all love that stuff. And that's just being added under her eye. Actually, the powders I use for her face are basically all Ben Nye. And some of them are the Mojave palette, which is for deeper skin tones. Unfortunately, mine's cracked, so I didn't really get to show it in the after picture. It's just closed, but it's an amazing palette. So hopefully you see that palette at the end and try and get it because it's amazing and I don't want it to ever be discontinued. So everybody go buy one. So here we are basically just cleaning up. I'm also going to be making sure that everything blends because I do not like it when the face and the neck and the chest do not match. So I'm going in, as you can see in the background there, in that Mojave palette, I'm using a lighter part in the center, and then I go in a bit deeper to her collarbone, and that's basically all I'm doing here. Nothing too hard. And here we go, we're in our final steps. I am doing that lip liner. Now I took a deeper brown and I shaped her lip on the outside, just giving it some nice definition, and then she's going to be blotting in a lighter kind of taupey pink. It's just going to look pink on camera, but it was more of a taupey color. So here I'm just giving it that shape, that definition, and then I'll be putting on that pink in the center, and she will be manually smushing it together herself. Now, unfortunately, because we were having such an awesome conversation and I was talking so much, I didn't actually go back in with the brush to blend out the liner after she manually blotted it together. But it was still beautiful, but it's still my bad, guys. Sorry about that. But we were having so much fun, and as you can see here, we're going to start dancing and doing all different kinds of things. So So here I am, I'm going in with a gloss that basically matches the color almost to a T, as you can see. And now I just kind of put it on, and she smushed one more time for me. And here I'm just taking almost a semi-clean brush just to make sure everything is all blended, all good, no powdery leftovers or residue. And if you're really wondering what we're saying here, we're talking about badly done makeup. So we were like dying of laughter. Now the joke is she hasn't seen herself yet, so she could have been a subject to bad makeup, but I didn't do that to her. As you can see, she is just amazingly flawless. It's dewy, it's awesome. And she's about to go take a look. So here we go. The before